It's on.
There we go.
Hey, dude.
How are you?
Good. How's it going over there?
Doing okay. I'm sorry
Congratulations
to
on the
down
big
feed.
launch.
Oh, thank you. Let me just tweet this link out. Sorry, I'm going to do this in real time here. Just a second. Live with Nathan. Let's. Okay. Good. Yeah. The launch yesterday went really well. We launched last week, Thursday or Friday, to 10% of our customers, and then yesterday to 100%. And the launch, of course, is like a whole new homepage for people, a variety of other tweaks around that, new marketing site.
It looks awesome.
Thank you. All that kind of stuff. So that all went live yesterday, and we're just kind of just day one, seeing how it's going so far.
Yeah. How did that marketing site get put together? I mean, there's a lot of great copy on there, and I know you had a lot of great ideas about what to do with testimonials and stuff. I mean, what did that process look like? Did you put together just a lot of copy in a document, or did you kind of sketch some ideas?
Yeah.
So how did you invoke your designers to kind of start putting that together?
Yeah. So this is the first major project for Adam Stoddard, who's a designer who joined us a few months ago, basically, and he's been doing some other stuff also, but this is his first major thing. So we kind of worked together on it, but all the creativity, all the visuals, all the sort of layout stuff is his ideas, and he pitched a bunch of different takes. And we went through a variety of styles along the way and a variety of tweaks and going backwards and forwards on ideas. We loved an idea. The next day we didn't like it. Then we came back to it 2 weeks later, and kind of a bunch of that stuff. So we worked on some just general. I'd written some copy initially. I wrote some copy that was sort of framing where we're headed with the pitch, basically. And that helped him sort of build a design around that. And then we adjusted and tweaked and adjusted and tweaked. And then we just are both working on stuff as we go. And then copy and stuff changed all the time, and shapes changed and whatever. It's a very fluid process. It's not like, here's the copy, go design it, we're done. It's just extremely fluid up until the last minute, basically.
Yeah.
But I was focused mostly on copy, and he was focused mostly on visuals. And then he gave some great feedback on some copy, and then we added some stuff. There's a letter on the homepage that was just a decision that we made to change the layout in the last 2 days prior to launching. And so I wrote this letter and popped it in there, and a lot of that, basically, just a lot of tweaking and adjusting. And the testimonials thing, I had this idea to ask our customers a question. Typically, I think we may have talked about this in the previous episode, but you ask for testimonials, they're typically asking about your own product. Like, what's the best thing you like about Basecamp or whatever. But I asked it a different way. I said, what's changed for the better in your business since you started using Basecamp? And the responses were extremely rich. We got about 4,000 of them or so.
Yeah.
And I asked people on the survey, would you be okay? Do you give us permission to publish your answer on our new website? And so a subset of the 4,000 said yes. And I went through all of them and picked about 1,000 of them or so to put on one page, which is way too many, obviously. No one's going to read all 1,000. But the idea behind it is, if you can overwhelm someone with a sense of, holy shit, there's a lot of people who have a lot of good things to say about this, even though they're not going to read them all. If they even kind of what I call roulette scrolling, you just kind of scroll through and you land somewhere, they're going to always land in a positive thing. You just kind of, Jesus, this piece goes on and on and on and on forever. And you land and you kind of read a couple. And maybe you scroll and you land a couple and you read a couple. That was the idea. Hit people with an overwhelming amount of force, in a sense, of goodwill and happiness and impact that Basecamp has on people's companies. And a lot of people don't think about Basecamp as this kind of product, that it's actually a transformational product inside of a company, but it absolutely positively is. And we've never really done a good job of showing it. So this is hopefully the first step towards saying businesses actually get better on Basecamp. It's not just that, yeah, you can track some stuff and projects get delivered. Businesses flat out get better.
Yeah.
People become more accountable. They become better communicators. There's more patience across the organization. People don't feel as rushed. These are attributes of a great company. And so that you can Basecamp can help you get there. So anyway, that's kind of the idea behind this like wall of quotes. And so there's some, ideas there, and we're about to A/B test some other ideas next week and whatever, but that's how it all came together.
Totally. Did you guys, this is just even more about the mechanics. Like, did you, when you guys pitch stuff back and forth, is it usually like, did Adam get right into the HTML and send you, websites back and forth? Or is he drawing on Photoshop docs?
Well, I mean, we do it all in Basecamp back and forth, either pinging things back and forth in Basecamp, or in the project itself. We have a project set up for this website redesign.
Yeah.
There's some Photoshop or Sketch kind of mock-ups. And then a lot of the things, though, that's kind of the early stuff, just to show like general themes and attitudes and directions. And then we kind of get into HTML so we can modify things pretty quickly and play around with stuff pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then like if I want to get in there and modify copy or whatever, you'll see if you go to basecamp.com, there's some like bubbles on the homepage with text in them. Like they resize automatically because they're SVGs. And so like I can go in there and play with the text, and we don't have to like do a new background image. And like there's some real advantages that come from just putting things in HTML so you can like really riff quickly.
Totally.
And so we've always been fans of that. So the Photoshop stuff, the stylistic stuff happens early. And then after that, we pretty much get into HTML. And then the illustration on the homepage came from Jason Zimdars, who's one of our designers here, who had this amazing illustration talent, like by chance recently. And so we asked him to take a swing at illustrating this idea that we had of someone kind of running around with their hair on fire, which is how a lot of entrepreneurs run around. And they do not have to, but they do, because the way they work leads to that. And so we're trying to kind of make the point that like, if you run your business on email, texting, meetings, chat rooms, like you're probably living in chaos, and you may not even know that that's become the new normal for you, but it certainly doesn't have to be. And so that was the sort of idea. And he came up with this execution of it, tweaked it a few times, but felt really good about it. And then just for those who are interested, the smoke, sort of the smoke trailing off her hair, there's some things in the smoke, and he kind of illustrated those separately, and then we could kind of layer those into the graphic the way we wanted to, so it would wrap properly. And we could, so he gave us kind of a library of objects that could be on fire essentially. And so we kind of
it's awesome
together.
And I really like the detail at the footer of the growth of Basecamp. That was a very nice touch.
So thank you. That was an idea I had at some point. Like I wanted, like, the idea behind this is that, okay, Basecamp's been around for a long time, right? 12 years. It's easy for people to think like, well, that's old. People don't use that anymore. That's just natural when it's been around for a long time. And there's all sorts of new things that come out all the time. But the truth is Basecamp's never signed up more people than ever. Like Basecamp 3's sign-up growth is 30% more than Basecamp 2. And the chart is going up and up and up. Like things have never been stronger in that sense. So like I wanted to communicate that on every page. It's in the footer, of course, but like as a general sense that like you're joining something that is growing stronger than ever still. You're at the top of this. This is like continuing. So I've always wanted to get that across and never really quite figured out how to do it. So we thought, like, what if we just put like this chart at the bottom of every single page, which is the same, but like it just reinforces the fact that this thing is you're joining a huge collection of people who are using this thing. So that was sort of the idea behind that.
Things that we're working on here is it's kind of a project I feel like you guys have already kind of gone through iterations of before, and we're kind of catching up to those iterations. Like, Highrise still has kind of an old pricing model you guys used to do for Basecamp Classic, basically. I think is when that existed. And right now I'm exploring doing things like a free trial, kind of what you had started to do. I think you guys added a free trial basically to Basecamp Classic. You did it for BCX, you're doing it for BC3 now, get in here without a credit card. So I'm exploring that. I don't know, I'm just curious. Like I noticed in BC3 there's no there's no sign up form on the front page anymore, right? Like you were doing in BCX?
Yeah, yes. We've decided to move that off onto its own separate page. And so we're sort of testing that, see how that works.
Yeah.
And we'll play with some variations on that. We're going to A/B test some things, and we'll see how that goes. I know you guys, the sign up form's off. I mean, every time we've ever tested this, for the record, like, you get more signups when the form is higher. But I think, and we've done some work to eliminate or to detect false signups, because what we found was a lot of people were going to the sign up form and trying to sign in.
Sure.
And like creating fake accounts, or not fake accounts, but like they didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Accidental accounts, right? And we've done a decent job in trying to eliminate that, but I still believe that there's a fair number of people who do that. I've actually done that myself. I was just talking to Adam when he did it by himself. He just did it like today by accident. So like it absolutely still happens, and so I think that there's a sense that when you remove the form from the homepage, what you basically do is you drop accidental signups close to zero. It's very close to zero compared to having it on the homepage, where there's still certainly a percentage. I don't know how big, but I bet you bigger than we think,
Totally.
that are still accidentally signing up. So it's tricky to compare the numbers, because if you're just looking purely at sign up numbers, you may be getting false numbers. So what we're looking for, and it's going to take 30 days to find out, are actual conversion rates from trial to paid, because that's the real indicator of like our trial conversion rates going up versus signups going up or down. And then we're going to continue to tweak and iterate and play with more ways to widen the funnel up front. But what I like about pushing the sign up form back is that it basically says, like, if you really want to sign up for this, these are the people who really want to sign up for this, versus accidental signups or people like barely kicking the tires. And if like one page away is too hard to get to, then maybe the motivation wasn't there in the first place. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious what's going to happen. I mean, in the course of working on Highrise, like we kind of accidentally, not even accidentally, I mean, there was some purpose to it, but I mean, we started highlighting the free account more, kind of in some ways of like, let's get, if you don't want to pay, at least get into a free plan. And then we found it really hurt us in the end. I mean, we can try to figure out the psychology of it, but it ended up being good. And maybe because the free plan still isn't a very good plan compared to other things. You don't get as many deals. So maybe you don't really still get the impact of what Highrise does, and then you don't upgrade. You don't actually then move into a paid plan. So I don't know. I mean, so we have to be careful, obviously, with testing how we get into this trial plan, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like you guys saw a lot of success getting away then from just requiring a credit card on sign up right away, right?
Yeah, when I don't remember when we changed this. I guess this is from Basecamp Classic to BCX. I think Classic used to require, I mean, it's been so long, but I think it used to require a credit card on sign up.
At first it did, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it always did, basically. And I think,
okay.
I think we changed it in BCX was the first time we changed it. I could be wrong about this, but credit card's a major barrier to entry, because I think,
totally.
I mean, it's everyone knows it. So we got rid of that. Then we went to the time-based trial. What was interesting was with Basecamp 3, when we launched it, we didn't have a time limit. It was like one project. We call them Basecamps, but one forever for free. And then when you want to make your second, you pay. And we switched it now with this latest update to be a 30-day free trial again, because what we think is that first of all, you need what we've anecdotally, this is anecdotally, but like I've talked to a lot of people about this, and people want to play with a few projects at once, because Basecamp is a product that can run things simultaneously, and like that's part of the trial experience. Is like so the new thing we put up is like unlimited usage for 30 days. So there's no limits now. So now it's not like, shit, if I want to make a second one to see how it works, I have to pay. And also the previous design, or the previous method where we didn't have a time limit, there was no moment of decision really, except for making your second Basecamp. But that was prevented them from exploring the product fully, and then also tied payment into that. So we're going back to the idea that 30 days free, use as much as you want, no limits. And then now there's a point where you have to make a decision. And so we think being able to drive a moment of decision is going to lead people to make a choice. And I think when they make a choice, they can either make a choice yes or no. And if they say no, then we can follow up with them if we want to. Versus if you have a free account and you use one free thing, there's never a moment when we know you've flipped or not flipped. And so I think it's harder to talk to people when you don't really know what they're doing. Versus like if you know they said no, then you can reach out to them if you want to. Or if you know they said yes, you can reach out to them if you want to. So we'll find out though. In 30 days, we'll find out how that shakes out.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I just feel like the moment, like it's good to have a moment, because when there's a moment, you can, you can anchor things to that moment. If we know it's day 31 and someone hasn't paid, maybe they're just a day late and they're procrastinating or whatever. But if it's like 45 days later, of course, and the account is like frozen, then you can reach out to them and maybe you can learn why they haven't, like why they didn't become a customer, compared to someone who's on a free account who might be 45 days in on a free account and they're using it beautifully. We don't know if they're using it really well or they're using it not so well, or they wanted to create a second but they weren't afraid to because it would cost them money, or they never even considered making a second. There's just a lot you don't know, and there's no like point in time where you can ascertain some intent at some level.
Yeah. Did you guys test a call to action like inside for trial users? I mean, I think I saw in Basecamp 3 when I signed up as a, just experiment with your flow, there was a banner at the top, maybe, or
in the new one.
Yeah. It's like please upgrade or please pick a plan if you like it or something like that.
We never had that before either. So
okay.
We basically, when you try to create your second project before, then we would take you into this flow, but there was never this like call that you're on a trial and you should do something, because you weren't really on a trial. You were on a free forever plan. So the thinking is that if we're more explicit and deliberate, and we encourage people to take their time, not forever, but a certain amount of time, they can use as much as they want. They're reminded of the fact that they're on a trial. Here's where they can buy it when they're ready. Like just being clear about all that, I think, is better than being fuzzy. I think before we were pretty fuzzy. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. We've also changed the pricing, so we'll see how that. It was changed a lot at once, which of course doesn't make people who are trying to measure the effectiveness of this happy, and I totally get that. But there's a lot of change going on at once, so we'll work through it and see what we can learn and see what we can do. And when you go at something going, we're going to make this work, versus going, can this work? Like it's a different mindset. So like, we're going to make this work is the mindset we're going into this with. So we'll figure it out. And that's different than going, it didn't work. Let's pull back quickly because it didn't work. Like, well, let's make it work. So we're giving it time, like spending the next 6 months making sure we can make it work, basically, is the idea.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's a project we're on as well. I don't know when we're going to.
In what way? What do you guys do?
Well, just some of the same stuff. Like, I mean, we definitely, we require a credit card up front. So it's definitely this barrier, and we hear about it in many ways. And, whether it's from customers who want to kind of kick the tires a little bit harder, or we have seen it, I think, we've been dabbling in some advertising on things like Facebook, and there's another site that we see some decent converting traffic from. We're exploring, and again, just dipping our toe into kind of taking an ad out there. But we have this hypothesis, and I mean, I don't even think it's that much. I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with this, but like any of those ads, I think would be much more effective if they led to even fewer barriers, right? I feel like people today, we get a lot of our signups are people who look up the word high rise, like direct traffic. They know what they want, and they get in there and they sign up. But now we're bringing in people from, say, traffic from this ad, and their only exposure to high rise might be even a tweet, or might be a 100 words of copy somewhere. And now we're asking for a credit card. So it's like we're whether it's maybe those ads just have a landing page that go to a free trial, or we just embrace fully, like, let's get everybody on a free trial who visits High Rise. That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to explore and test right now.
Something we did with Basecamp Classic originally was we presented the plans. Well, actually, BCX. Let's take the BCX example. We present. I think no. I'm trying to remember. I guess what I was going to say is that you can, like, some people are there because they want to buy. They know they want to buy. So like if you know they want to buy, maybe it's a good idea to sell to them. Other people just want to try it. They definitely don't want to give you a credit card. So you might even be able to make a little bit of a menu, like, hey, if you know you want this and you're ready to pay for it, like, here we go, quick, easy in. If you just want to give it a shot for 30 days, no credit card required, do this. And maybe that way you could capture both situations. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Because certainly some people are like, they heard about it from a friend, and so their friend uses Highrise, like, you should be using Highrise. Like, okay, fine, I'll go buy it. Yeah, so like, just let them buy it, right? Versus like letting them sign up for a trial. Like, they don't even want a trial. They're in. They're already converted. They're in. Like, they've been converted through word of mouth. Someone showed it to them and they're in. But now it's kind of harder to be in because, well, in your case, it's not, because you do ask for a credit card up front. But then there's another group, like you said, which is like, doesn't know it as well, came in from one site or one mention of it somewhere. They're certainly not ready to hand over your credit card to you. Right. Who are you? You know what I mean? Right. So I think there might be different front doors in those cases, perhaps. But I do think that if you push credit cards back, it's gonna be a good idea.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good idea. A very good idea.
Yeah, and we also
like significant structural changes, but like it's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. Another aspect of it too is, like, we keep finding there's so many people who sign up to Highrise who do very little exploration of the site. And so it's like, I feel like we're losing people because simply a sign up form is like homepage, pick a plan, get to a sign up form, and there's still too many fields on the sign up form. And when you look at some of the behavior of people who do end up signing up, it's like they didn't even bother exploring. There's too many barriers to signing up. So it's like, I'd also just like to play with that, like how to capture people with, off the get-go with as few kind of jumps in the funnel as possible. So
something else we tried to do there was, Ryan here's had some thoughts about this, which is that if you make sign up really the number one thing on the site up top, you don't get a chance, and someone's sort of eager in a sense, you don't even get a chance to sell them on what the product is. So they're coming in and just jumping to sign up, and then you don't even get a chance to talk to them at all.
Yeah.
So part of it is like, if you can maybe push the sign up page back a step, maybe you get a chance at least to make your case a little bit stronger. So when they come in, at least they know what they're looking for, or they find out this is not what they're looking for, versus just coming in and like, just I'll try it. I don't even know what it really is. I sort of heard about it, and then like finding out that's not what they wanted. Then you have a conversion. So you have someone who doesn't convert, who really shouldn't have probably signed up in the first place. I don't know what the answers are here with all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of subtlety around this. And if you talk, just like, you could, this is the thing, like, you gotta when you talk to people about this stuff, you learn a whole lot about what their intentions are that data just does not show. It just does not show the story behind why someone did something. And there's a lot of interesting things that you learn when you start talking to people. Both of these things, you want to look at data and you want to talk to people, because they tell you different things, and you want to have a better picture. But there's a lot of subtlety in human behavior that you just don't get at.
Yeah.
When you just look at things like, how many people signed up? What was our conversion rate? Well, it's lower. Well, maybe it's because we made it so easy to sign up that people don't even know what they're getting, and they would never have signed up in the first place. And that would have been better if they hadn't, because then our conversion rate would be higher. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Did you guys, another mechanic of that form, did you guys to stop with the accidental signups, did you guys do kind of like a sniff thing where it's just like, hey, we think we've seen you before, present you with a login instead of a sign up, or no?
I'm trying to remember what decisions we made around that.
It's fine. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'll get that for you. I forget what we did. I think one of them was if you entered an email address that we already had on file. Well, actually, I'm trying to remember what we did. I think that we then like took you down a different path versus allowing you to sign up again, but that wouldn't have made sense because you can't have the same email address. I'm not sure what we actually did there. Let me look into all the little moves we made to reduce accidental signups. I know we made some. I just can't quite remember exactly what they all were.
Yeah. Yeah, and and we were kind of running out of time, but yeah, I still like, I want to explore our marketing site so much more. I just looked at Optimizely just today. It's an experiment we've been running. There's a video that we placed on our features page a while ago, and I think we measured it, but I think we didn't. This was a long time ago. We weren't measuring things as well as we do today. Like, we've always measured stuff, but I think we were just measuring like total conversions. And I think when we put this video on, it was also like a couple years ago. It's kind of an old video. It even kind of shows like an older looking high rise. Like, high rise has changed so much in the last 2 years.
Yep.
And so we were like, Chris on support, who also does a lot of like updates on the marketing site, he took it out, and I'm like, whoa, like, don't take it out just yet. I mean, like, I know it's old and we don't maybe like it right now, but let's just check. So I'm testing it now. We put it back, and I'm testing it now. We're getting like a 56% bump on our free signups, a 56% improvement on free signups by removing this like explainer video. It was just kind of shocking, and it's buried. It's kind of buried.
Why do you think that is? Like, what's your theory on it?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it doesn't affect paid signups, because again, I feel like a lot of our paid signups are people who like, they're almost pre-sold on high rise, or they're coming back maybe for a second time or whatever. They just know they want it. They've been thinking about this decision, or they got a really good recommendation about high rise. I feel like because it's having an impact on free, I feel like it's mostly people who are like really unsure of what they're getting in here, and so they're like really doing some deep exploration. And this explainer video, it really is. It's not up to date anymore.
Okay.
I don't know, and maybe it's just not doing as good of a job anymore of selling our products. It's basically doing nothing for paid signups, but getting rid of it like bumps up the free signups a ton. So it's just really interesting, because it's the bottom. It's even towards the footer. Like, I didn't even think anybody was paying that much attention to this thing anyway. It's kind of shocking. Getting rid of it is going to improve things. So I don't know.
It's weird. It's so weird. It doesn't make sense in a sense, but it might just be that one you could look at. I mean, I don't even know if this is. Some people may have like some sort of a video blocker, ad blockery thing on that might be throwing some sort of weird exception when the video's on the screen that it's not, and it's not when it's not. And so you might have a portion of people who, if there's a video on the screen, like, it's blocked and they don't know what's going on. Like, there could be some weird thing happening here.
Yeah.
That causes people to make a different decision. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of still marketing experiments I want to do, because it's like crazy. 56% bump just by removing some video.
All right. The potential is limitless there. I know. We're about to do some tests inside the app on the buy screen now on Basecamp. And like, I'm super curious about just layout tweaks, like how a layout tweak, how graphic design basically could or could not move numbers. And it's so interesting, because like, that's it. The elements would be the same. It's just like, this might be here instead of here, and then boom, things could change. Who knows, maybe they won't. But I love those I love the subtle adjustments there too, because you can really, one test we're going to do is like, we have the price in bold text, and then we're going to get rid of the bold. That's it. And it's like, does that have any impact on people's perception of something? Like, maybe it seemed expensive before, and now it's no big deal. Or maybe now it's a big deal, and who knows? But I'm really curious about those little small things.
Yeah, me too. And it's crazy though, because it's like, we've seen some impact from doing small things, or what maybe people would think are small things, from changing our pricing plans by putting 4 instead of 3 on there. We hurt ourselves. I mean, and it's like, it's like hard to predict these things, but then it's like, I get kind of like stuck though then, because we end up doing all these split tests, and like, there's no improvement. And so it's wild when you bump into one that like really shifts things.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. It's like, I want to just spend constant time on experiments, and like fiddle with things. And a lot of them end up doing nothing.
Yep.
It's kind of wild.
Yep. Super
cool.
Right,
cool. So it sounds like next week you guys are in a meetup, so we'll pick up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, next week's no good, but the week after we can join back up again on the show.
All right.
Cool.
All right, man. Good luck with the rest of with the launch. Everything
Thanks.
looks awesome, and everybody check out Basecamp and check out Highrise.
Check out Highrise and Basecamp both.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you soon.
Later, everybody.
Later.